Today I'm sharing 10 tips to instantly get better at Fortnite. These tips are designed to help you improve as quickly as possible, so if you enjoy, make sure you are subscribed. We're about to hit 20k. Now let's jump into the first tip. So the first way you're going to get better at Fortnite is learning how to piece control and pre-piece control. Now basically piece control just means that you can end fights faster than anyone else. So here's a very quick example of how to piece control. When I go up to this player's box, I'm going to obviously see he doesn't have a cone in his box, and I'm going to hold a ramp and a wall at the same time. What this means is no matter what, I get a ramp in his box, but it also means that I could maybe, steal the wall. So I predict that after I throw this ramp in his face, he's probably going to go out in a certain direction. I predict he's going to go out right. Notice I placed the wall first, because if he edits out, the first thing he's going to place is a wall to block me. But I counter that with a wall, and then I make a wide edit, and then I place 2 cones above and below. This means that he'll have no control over this entire box, and if he walks into it like he does here, that means that I'll always be able to get a shot off, and that allows me to end the fight with a simple kill. Moving on from piece control, let's talk about the other best way to end fights quickly, and that is with having good awareness. Now, having good awareness basically means you'll never make a mistake in a fight. So one example of awareness is right here. I'm on low ground. The other player is above me, obviously trying to steal my floors, and I'm going to psycho height with a shockwave launcher. Now, when I do this, obviously it's going to break him out and make him fall. But most importantly, when he falls, he's going to miss this mantle, and I notice this as I'm falling. I look at the player and I see that he misses this mantle and he doesn't get up. This means that I have a split-second window to sprint over and piece control this area, because if he mantles in again, I'll have it pre-pieced. And good news for me, I'm able to get there in time, and I'm able to pre-piece that box with a wall and a cone. When I get this wall and this cone, this means that if this player mantles into this box, he has delay again before he can do anything. That means that I'm able to get a shot off and wide at it, because I know he can't shoot back at me. But most importantly, as soon as I crack him, I reset the wall, because if I don't, when I make this wide at it, if I shoot him and then he just turns back to shoot me, I lose that health advantage. So after I crack him, I reset to make sure he can't shoot back at me. Now, right after I crack this player, he goes and makes basically no space at all in a wood box, and I have a rapid fire SMG, and I know that I can bleed through to end the fight really quickly, because if I don't do this, I have to go steal the wall again. But since I bleed through, I'm able to pick up a simple elimination. So make sure that you guys are doing things like this to win more fights. Now, I've talked about when to fight, but when is actually not a good time to fight. I'm pushing this player right here in a box. I'm in a little bit of an end game. As you can see, there's a few people alive. It's pretty stacked, right? Now, I'm trying to box fight this player, but there's a player right above me, and zone is about to close. So I realize that this fight isn't worth it, and I completely back off and I disengage, because not only would the other player clean me up, but zone is about to pull max, and I have to be ready for my rotate, which leads into my next tip. So now let's talk about the most important part of winning games or fighting in general, and it's having a plan. Right here, we're in a little bit of a ranked endgame. It's pretty stacked for a ranked game, to be honest, and zone is about to close, and it's going to pull all the way up here max, basically for everyone. What this means is I have to plan out my rotate before anyone else so that I can win the game. So as the clock burns down, it's about to obviously start rotating, and I'm going to use my shockwave grenade combined with the slurp cannon. This means that obviously I can rotate farther, but most importantly, I don't jump, because if I jump right here and then fly in the air, I'm going to be exposed to this guy on high ground, maybe this guy, maybe other people in the front of zone. This just means I'll get sprayed in the air. So I make sure that I'm just sprinting at the wall. This means that instead of going up in the air, I get thrown more towards the ground. And this just means that I'm less of a target. Notice how I sprint through and I don't go super elevated. I'm on basically the same layer as that guy. That just means that I'm a lot harder to hit, and I can fly faster and get to the front of zone before anyone else. Notice how I am all the way over here and everyone else is behind me. This just means I have an easier rotate, and I can also establish the front of low ground, and that just means I get to pick and choose what I do next. Now, after taking a few shots at other players, the next rotate has started, and I do the exact same thing. I just sprint forward with my shockwave, and I land at the front of zone, but I get elevated. If you stay on a lower layer right here, you have to go through this house with everyone else, and that won't be fun. So I make sure to get elevated so that I'm on my own layer when I have to go into this house. So the best way to become a better player or just win games in general is to have good positioning. Notice how I'm not going to stay at the back of zone or build in wood like these players. This just always forces them to get into fights. I always land and get myself in the front of zone early. This means that I don't have to deal with all of this dumb stuff back here. I can just get myself in zone and then look back at others. Another way of positioning is very important. Don't let zone get on your back. It's going to be very important coming up. I get myself in zone. Notice how I'm not tarping last second and getting myself in. What this does is it just gives you a few seconds of breathing room, and those extra seconds can let you look at other players and get damage in. Now, this player above me does minigun me, and at this point, I'm out of mats, so I literally just decided to shockwave up to kind of grief this guy. Now, eventually, I'm actually able to steal high ground off this player, but again, I don't have a lot of mats, so positioning is very difficult because I can't keep high ground because I don't have mats, and this guy's starting to build up. I know that I can't hang with him, so I decide to pop my chug cannon, and I literally just jump off going for a shot. I'm able to actually crack him and fall down. Now, after this player breaks this first tree, I move on to the second tree and get cover. But again, remember how I mentioned don't stay at the back of zone because you won't have time to think? This player does that mistake, and that means that when he breaks this tree, I know he won't be ready for me. So when he breaks it, I psycho height with my launcher and I get in front of him. Notice how he's still at the back of zone now building in. He doesn't have time to think and he just has to build. That means that I can shockwave without him being able to shoot back at me. I'm able to fly up in the air, and obviously that allows me to pick up a free win. So make sure that you guys have great positioning going into end games. Another way you can become a better player is by noticing what guns your opponent has. Right here, these two players are fighting, and I hear this player start to use the charged shotgun. Now, it's very important that I know that this player is a charged shotgun because after I get this elimination right here, he starts to push me and third party me. But since I know he has a charge, I know that I can make quick edits and catch him off guard because he won't be able to shoot before me. So I make a simple edit when I see him start to build up. See how I'm able to catch him off guard. I'm able to then crack him, and now he's weak. And then eventually I'm able to chase this player down and then pick up an elimination. So make sure you guys are reading what guns your opponent has. But now you're probably asking yourself, when's the right time to fight? One situation is right here. As you can see by my ammo, I basically have no ammo. And that means that if I want to win this game, I have to force a refresh. So I see this player right here, and I see that his wood wall is weak, and I know I have the tactical AR, and I'm able to bleed through, and I'm able to get a bunch of damage on him. Now, instantly, I push him, because if I don't get this kill, I am out of AR ammo for the rest of the game. So I instantly push this player, and I'm able to place a cone when I fall in. This just means that he can't build, and then I'm able to pick up an elimination, but not only an elimination, I get all the ammo that I need. Another great tip to become better at the game is learn when players are distracted. That is the best opportunity for you to get opening damage, any big hit of damage. Right here, I see these two players fighting. But as you can see, I instantly don't start spraying because this isn't a good angle for me, and I can't get a good shot off. Now when he gets in a good position and he starts to shoot the other player, I know he's going to be distracted, and when he pauses for a second, then I'm able to get a big amount of opening damage. Now after I crack this player, he still is even more distracted because he thinks the other player was shooting him, and when he drops into this box, he doesn't even build behind him. He only builds the walls to his right and his left. This means that the back wall is still open, and I'm able to pick up an elimination without even having to build fight this player. So that is going to wrap up this video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys are subscribed. And if you do want to see more content like this, you can go check out these other two fighting videos. And with that, I'll see y'all later. Peace.